Join us on Patreon to support our channel and the work we do to help people, animals and the planet.
You'll get rewards like ebooks, one-on-one Skype calls and online coaching discounts. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So as many of you are aware, Mr. Ben Brown, a very popular YouTuber with almost 500,000 subscribers, has watched COWSPIRACY recently, a wonderful documentary on the environment and the impact of animal agriculture, and he is looking towards a vegan diet and lifestyle as a result.
So we are so happy to hear about this, and there was a vlog that Ben put out a couple of days ago that we watched, and it got our attention because there was a conversation between himself and his girlfriend Nicole in the car.
Who's also watched the documentary.
Yes, and it stood out, and we thought, oh, we want to take out this 30-second clip and make a video response to it. Now please don't think that we're nitpicking and being super critical and blah 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 about Ben and Nicole. We think they're doing an amazing job, and they made
An incredible
wonderful
vegan
soup.
homemade. It was fantastic. Check out the vlog.
Good job, guys. But we do think it's important to kind of pick them up on a few things that were going on in this conversation.
Just to help them out, help them along.
Absolutely. And also to help anybody who's new to veganism or is questioning or learning about veganism. We don't want people to get the wrong impression. So we did think it was important to just step in here. So let's watch that 30-second clip now from Ben's vlog.
After I watched the documentary Home again.
Oh,
showed
yeah.
it to my parents, and like it made me want to really reduce my meat intake.
Cool.
I'm not labeling, like I don't want to become a vegan right now. Probably, I don't know.
But just consume a bit more consciously.
Yeah, exactly. Just reduce meat intake.
Yeah.
Or know where it comes from.
There's no need to label it.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to break this clip up into two sections. The first being the idea of eating less meat, of eating more consciously, and the other section being about labels.
So let's go to Dr. Richard Oppenlander, who was featured in the documentary COWSPIRACY, and let's see what he says about the idea of eating less meat.
If you go meatless on Mondays, you'll be contributing to climate change, pollution, global depletion of our planet's resources, and your own health on only 6 days of the week. Instead of 7. You'll be creating a false justification for your actions on those other 6 days of the week. In other words, let's not rest on the laurels of what you're doing right only 1/7 of the time. And baby steps. What are those? I think it's time we do away with baby steps, because we're in fact not babies, are we? I mean, if you think about it, all of us are quite capable of taking big person steps right now. And our planet and all the animals on it shouldn't have to wait with repeated and ongoing assaults until we get this figured out. What does eating less meat really mean? Just in the 1 hour I'm speaking here this morning, from 8 to 9 o'clock, over 8 million animals were slaughtered for us to eat. In that 1 hour, 114,000 tons of grain were fed to livestock we're raising. But during that same hour, 684 children in the world have died from starvation. 6,000 acres of tropical rainforest were destroyed and replaced by cattle. And over 4 million tons of greenhouse gases have been dumped into our atmosphere by livestock. Therefore, I'm advocating a different approach than what Mark Bittman and all the others suggest when they state that we should eat less meat. Well, because with that approach of eating less meat, only 7 million animals will be slaughtered in the next hour, and only 113,000 tons of grain will be wasted, leaving only 683 children in the world that'll starve to death in that hour, and only 3 million tons of greenhouse gases will be emitted by livestock. Isn't that what less means? So unlike Jamie Oliver, Mark Bittman, and all other eat less meat advocates in the world, I think these numbers should be 0. Yes, I do, and it's easily attainable. There's no magic involved. Nothing has to be invented. No new technologies have to be employed. It's simply with what we choose to eat.
So the main thing that we want to stress here is that baby steps are for
babies, and baby male chicks in particular, who are ground up alive or suffocated to death or left outside to freeze to death moments after being born because they are useless to the egg industry, and also the baby male calves who are stolen from their mothers moments or a day after being born and shortly thereafter killed.
Yeah, so baby steps are for those beautiful baby animals that most of them never get to take those baby steps, while us adults need to take big grown-up steps. And just, come on, let's just switch to plant foods. It's really simple and easy. There's nothing to kind of deliberate over. Yeah, we just do it, you know? And the problem is, I mean, COWSPIRACY is a fantastic documentary, but there needs to be more education from this point. Ben and Nicole, please watch Earthlings. Please learn about the ethics, learn about the animals behind all of these issues that you've been watching in COWSPIRACY.
Because once you meet them, you can't eat them. You just have to make the connection that all animals are the same as your cat and dog that you might have had in your family, or you might even have now. You know, they suffer in exactly the same way. You know, eating more consciously, you know, that refers to things like, you know, backyard, local, grass-fed, blah, blah, blah. Well, in actual fact, that scenario was depicted in COWSPIRACY with the guy who was raising the ducks in his backyard. You know, they lived there with his family. And that wasn't a really, you know, happy ending for those ducks that copped it on the chopping board,
and
was it?
it's definitely not sustainable.
So,
like, it was that myth was completely, you know, explored and dealt with.
Exactly. I mean, would you consider that more of a conscious choich?
Yeah.
You know, I
think conscious choice is more of a euphemism. Like, what does it actually mean? Because to the animal, to the victim, they're like, listen, conscious schmontious. Basically,
it's my life. It's life or death for me.
You're going to slaughter me or not.
Yeah. This leads into the second point about labels, because the reason we think that we can just, you know, make more conscious choices and take baby steps and blah, blah, blah is because we're not aware of two things called speciesism and carnism. Speciesism basically the human race thinking that it's superior to all other living beings on the planet, and then carnism, the idea that we are made and born to eat meat, that it's normal, natural, and necessary for us. I mean, we wish there wasn't a label for it either. There shouldn't be, just as like there isn't a label for non-rapist or non-child molester or non-wife beater. We don't have labels for those.
One of the main problems with people not wanting to be labelled a vegan is because they care about what other people think. And vegans have this image of being a little bit crazy and a bit extreme.
Because we're going against the whole speciesism and carnism, core belief systems of our culture. So of course we're always going to be the outsider, the extremist, you know, and yet veganism, there's nothing extreme about it. Eating peaceful plants, you know, eating meat, dairy and eggs, you're gonna, if you have to have bypass surgery, they're gonna cut into your leg, take out a vein, crack open your ribs and attach that vein to your heart. That's extreme.
Put it this way, if you don't want to use the word vegan, fine. But at least live vegan. Be 100% vegan in your choices, and that's all the animals really care about. Why do we encourage people to use the label vegan, especially people like Mr. Ben Brown and his girlfriend Nicole? Because they have this huge following. And so when they use the word vegan, that means other people are hearing it and they're learning and they're going to look into it and hopefully adopt that themselves.
Because, you know, case in point, the viewers who watched Ben's recent vlog, you know, they actually commented, oh yeah, I agree with you guys, it's all about choosing more consciously and no labels and blah, blah, blah. Whereas if they'd come out and said, you know, we're going vegan, guys, well then that's 500,000 people that they could positively influence, you know, and go, oh well, Ben Brown's doing it and his girlfriend's doing it and they're pretty, you know, confident about it, and yeah, well, I can do that too.
Thank you so much for watching.
Like, share and subscribe.
And post down below, what are your thoughts on this? Do you like the label vegan? What do you think about baby steps? We want to hear from you guys, and make sure you give this video a thumbs up so that Mr. Ben Brown sees this video and learns a little bit more.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next video.
Bye.
Hey babe.
Oh, you're sweating like a pig.
Pigs don't have sweat glands.
Am I still vegan? Hey hun, Freely's got a new video.
Go Free, check some.